Hi everyone, it's me, Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. So as you've seen in the thumbnail, we are making that vest. Now it's intended to be like a lacier, flowy type vest. Long, something that just adds a little pop of something extra. Now, if you want to wear it in the spring, you could totally make this a cover up. I'm going to give you the dimensions and everything that I used to work up my size. And I'm also going to give you those multiples so that way you could make this bigger if you so choose. So now I'm going to tell you what I used for the very first one that I made, and then I'll tell you what I'm using for the tutorial. So as for the original, I used Cinnamon Swirl by Caron, and it's a cake, and I will put in the description box the name of the colorway. So I used 2 full cakes, and two full cakes is 814 yards. Now I wear a large, extra large, on the extra large side of large, and extra large, depending on the maker and all that type of stuff. But as I said, this is meant to be a looser, lacier, flowy type garment. It isn't meant to be tight, snug, and really warm. So I used 2 of those cakes for my size, and I also used a 6mm crochet hook. Now that's a worsted weight, and I will be using a same thing, worsted weight, and the 6mm crochet hook for this tutorial. Only I will be using Premier Basics tweed, and there's 260 yards per skein. I have 3 of these, so that means I'm going to have to add a little extra to it in order to complete. So I will be adding an additional skein of a different color, and what I'll do is the border that goes around all of it will be done in that extra color. You're going to be chaining in multiples of 6 to do these panels. The back panel for me was a total of 78 chains. So that's 72 plus an additional 6, 78. Now, please bear in mind the border at the bottom is approximately 4 inches. You could add more if you desire. Now, as far as these front panels, I chained a total of 36. That's 30 plus 6 to give me that front panel that I wanted. Now, you make 2 of those. And again, you add an additional 4 inches of border to the bottom and 2 inches to where your lapel section would be. So here I have it laid flat out. And what I have is, this is one panel here in the dark area. This is the back panel, and that's the opposite front panel. Laced together on both of these. Then we have this border here all the way around. Now from this point down, it is open. It is not laced together. The border is your extra flowy, fancier looking edging. So what I have here for my front panels, I have 28 inches in height and 11.5 inches in width. Then you're going to add that 2 inches on the lapel and 4 inches at the bottom. Now for this back piece, I have 28 inches in height and 27 inches in width. And again, I'm adding 4 inches to the bottom. So please bear that in mind when you are measuring and gauging how big you want this to be. They may seem shorter than normal, but that is because we add this extra to the border here, or as a border. So a total of 56 inches from one side to the other side, including the inch of lacing, and a total of 32 inches from the top of your neck to the bottom of the garment for my size. You will need to adjust it accordingly to you. So what I did was I measured around myself. I added an inch for the sides, and then I added 2 inches for the front lapels. That gave me my 56 inches. You will need to adjust that to your liking and your size. Each panel starts off in multiples of 6. So we're going to go ahead and start the first panel. I'm going to show you on one of the front panels your repeats, and then you will be left to do both front panels and your back panel. Place a slip knot on your hook, and we are going to begin with 36 chains. So just chain up 36, and once you have your 36 or your multiple that you need, I'll meet back up with you. Once you have your 36 chains, we're going to double crochet back into the 4th chain from your hook. So what I'm going to do is turn it over so I can see those back bumps, the spine of your chain. And I'm going to count back 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to place a double crochet into that chain stitch. And the reason I use the back bumps is it allows elasticity to the bottom of the garment or the top of the garment. It also gives you the full stitch when we go back and add the border, or when we slip stitch or whip stitch this panel to the back panel. Okay, so this chain that we skipped, and those 3 chains equals your first double crochet. Then we have our second double crochet. We need 2 more. 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches for a total of 4 double crochets, including that first chain for our turning chain. Now we're going to chain 2, skip 2, there's chain 2, skip 1, 2, and place 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. And you're going to repeat that to the end of your row. There's 3 and 4. Once again, chain 2, skip 2, and place 1 double crochet into each of the following 4 chain stitches. Go ahead and continue that to the end of your row, and I'll meet up with you at the end. Okay, if you're following along with me, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 4 double crochets, groups of 4 double crochets. Now we're going to either chain up 2 as a double crochet and chain 2 more for your chain space, or you can create a mock double crochet and a chain 2. So you pull up a loop. I'm going to turn my work over. I'm going to bring my hook towards me, down and under that loop I created, and around and into the top of that stitch. yarn over and pull up a loop. There is 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2 more. Now the top of that is the top of your double crochet, the mock double crochet. I need to get a stitch marker here. You don't have to use one if you're comfortable using the mock double crochet and knowing where the top of it is. But if you don't, and this is new to you, I suggest using a stitch marker to put into the top of that stitch. Now we're going to chain 1 and 2, and we're going to skip the next 1, 2 stitches and place a double crochet into the next, which is the last double crochet from the row below. Now we're going to place 2 double crochets into your chain 2 space, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch, which is the first double crochet of the next group of double crochets. Now you're going to chain 2, skip the next 2, and double crochet into the next. And that's what it should look like. And you're going to repeat this to the end of your work, ending with a double crochet into your very last stitch, which is the top of your turning chain from the first row. Go ahead and continue placing 2 double crochets into your chain 2 space and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 2, skip 2, and continue. Once you've reached the end, we're going to either chain up 2 or we're going to do a mock double crochet, whichever is what you like to do. So I'm going to turn my work over and create a mock double crochet into that stitch. So I'm going to yarn up to about the height of a double crochet and wrap around, go into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2 more. Now we're going to repeat 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space and 1 double crochet into your next stitch. Chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, 1, 2, and double crochet into the next. So 2 double crochets into your chain 2 space and 1 double crochet into the following stitch. Chain 2, skip 2, and double crochet into the next. Continue that repeat to the end, and we're going to change it up on the next row. All right, so the next step is, once you have ended row 3, for row 4, we're going to change it up. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, and single crochet back into that first stitch. Now here is where we're going to be doing the chain 3 section, so the little mesh section. For the first row, we're going to our single crochet in the first stitch, chain 1, 2, 3, skip 2, and single crochet into the next, and repeat to the end of the row. Chain 1, 2, and 3, and skip your chain 2 space and single crochet into the next. So go ahead and complete that to the end of the row, and I'll meet up with you for row 5. All right, to begin row 5, we're going to turn our work over, and you can do a chain up of 5 chains, or you can do a mock double crochet and chain 3. So I will be doing my mock double crochet back into that first stitch and chain 1, 2, 3. I'm going to single crochet to the chain 3 space, the very first chain 3 space. And then I'm going to begin chain 1, 2, 3 and single crochet to the next chain 3 space. That is the repeat. And we're going to finish it up with a chain 3 and a double crochet into the last stitch. I'll meet up with you when we get to that point. So I'm down here placing my last single crochet into that last chain 3 space. Now I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3 and double crochet into that very last stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. I'm going to single crochet back into that same stitch. And then I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. And we're going to hop over this first chain 3 space, the single crochet, and we're going to single crochet to the next chain 3 space. And we're going to repeat our chain 1, 2, 3, single crochet into your next chain 3 space. Chain 1, 2, 3, and again, go to your next chain 3 space and single crochet. Now when we get to the end, we'll repeat how we started, and I will meet you at that point. All right, I'm down here with my last single crochet to the chain 3 space, the second to the last chain 3 space, and we're going to chain 3 and single crochet into the top of that double crochet, or if you chained, it would be into the top of your 2 chains. So 1, 2, 3, and single crochet to the top of that mock double crochet. Just like that. Now we're going to turn our work and we're going to repeat mock double crochet or a chain 5. So mock double crochet, chain 1, 2, 3, and single crochet to your first chain 3 space. So go ahead and continue working your chain 3, single crochet to the chain 3 space, and I'll meet up with you at the end. So I'm down here at the very end. I need one last chain 1, 2, 3 and a double crochet into that last stitch. And now we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and repeat the single crochet into the first stitch, chain 1, 2, 3, skip your first chain 3 space and single crochet into the following. And we're going to do this all the way to the end. So we have, this is our 5th row of these chain 3s and a total of the 8th row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. When I get to the end, I'll show you once again how to finish the row like you began, and I will show you the startup of repeating all of these rows. All right, down here at the second to the last chain 3 space, and we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, and hop over, skipping that single crochet and the next chain 3 space, and single crochet into the top of your double crochet at the end, your last stitch. Now you should have the same number of loops, chain 3 loops, there as you did on the first row of chain 3 loops. So on row 4. So row 8 and row 4 should have the same number of chain 3 loops. Now we're going to turn our work over And I'm going to show you how to start this pattern again. I'm going to show you how to put this row 1 right here into these chain 3 spaces. So we're going to start with a mock double crochet into that first stitch. And then we're going, or a chain 2, whichever you prefer, and we're going to jump into the chain 3 space and place 2 double crochets. Then we're going to double crochet into the single crochet. Chain 2, 1, 2. Skip your next chain 3 space and into the single crochet place a double crochet. And repeat. 2 double crochets into the chain 3 space. And 1 double crochet into the single crochet. And you're going to continue this to the end of the row. Your last chain 3 space should be a double crochet into the single crochet, 2 into the last chain 3 space, and then 1 double crochet into your very last stitch. I'll meet up with you at the end just so that way you can see what it looks like. All right, down here at the end I have a double crochet into the single crochet before the last chain 3 space, and I'm going to place 2 double crochets into that chain 3 space and 1 double crochet into the very last stitch. Now you're going to repeat rows 2 through 9. You're going to do that one more time, and then I will meet back up with you because we're going to change it up just a little bit for a few rows. All right, so you have made it through one more repeat, and now you're to this point here. You're going to work rows 2 and 3 to complete this section with the 4 double crochets and chain 2, 4 double crochets. So you will complete rows 2 and 3 to finish that section. I'm going to turn my work over, and you can start with a chain, or you can start with your mock double crochet for your first double crochet. So I'm going to pull up a loop and mock double crochet. If you are chaining up, you're going to chain up your 2 for your double crochet and 1 more for your chain 1 space. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next, which is in your chain 2 space, skip the next chain and double crochet into the next with a chain 1 space. And that's how you're working it all the way to the end. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next. And we're working this all the way to the end of the row. I'll meet up with you at the end. All right, when you get to the end, you should have 1 remaining stitch. You're just going to place a double crochet into that stitch. Turn your work over, and you're going to either do a mock double crochet or a chain 2. So I'm going to mock double crochet into that same stitch, and then I'm going to place 1 more double crochet into that same stitch. And now I'm going to jump right over this chain 1 space, the next double crochet, this chain 1 space, and we're going to be working into the top of the double crochets. So 2 double crochets into the top of that double crochet. Now that is the only exception. The rest of the pattern across this row will be simply place 2 double crochets into the top of every double crochet from the row below. So you're just skipping the chain ones and placing 2 double crochets into the top of the double crochet stitch from the row below. Skip the chain 1 and 2 double crochets into the top of the next stitch. And you're going to work this all the way to the end of the row, and I'll meet back up with you at that point. All right, once you've reached the end, we're going to repeat that fillet row. So we're going to turn our work over and either mock double crochet into the first stitch and chain 1, or chain 3, chain 2 for your double crochet, and add 1 extra for your chain 1 space. Now we're going to skip the first stitch and the next stitch because we worked the first stitch, and we're going to skip and place a double crochet into the following. So we're only skipping 1 stitch at a time. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next. And you're going to work this all the way to the end, and I'll meet up with you at the very end. Once you get to the end, you will have 1 remaining stitch. Simply double crochet into that remaining stitch. Now we're going to turn our work over, and we're going to repeat the 2 double crochets into those double crochet post stitches. So just like we did the last time, we're going to mock double crochet into that very first stitch, or chain 2. And then place 1 more double crochet into that same stitch. And we're going to hop over the next double crochet and the chain 1 space and place 2 double crochets into the following stitch. And then skip your chain 1 space and 2 double crochets into the following stitch. And you're going to work that all the way to the end of your row, and I'll meet up with you at the end. All right, now that we've finished this section here, we are on to repeating these same 2 through 9 again, but we have to start off with row 4 because we finished here with rows 1, 2, 3. We need to begin on row 4 to carry on this same pattern and the pattern repeat. So we're going to jump back to row 4, and we're going to begin with a single crochet into this first stitch. So chain 1 and single crochet back into that first stitch, chain 1, 2, 3, skip 2 and single crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, 3, skip 2 and single crochet into the next. And if you're following along with me, you should still have 11 chain 3 loops, just as you did in the prior chain 3 loops section. So down here, you will still have row 4 will still have 11 chain 3 spaces there. Then you're going to move on and do 5 through 9 and then repeat 2 through 9 till this is the length that you choose, with the exception that we're adding 4 inches to it. So please keep that in mind when you're working this up, this panel and the other front panel and back panel, that we will be adding 4 more inches to the bottom of it. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out at this point. I'm going to leave you to it. You're going to finish your panel with rows 4 through 9 and then repeat 2 through 9 2 more times. or to your desired length. You will do 2 front panels and your back panel, and I'll meet up with you once I have all my panels done, and we will sew them together on the shoulder, lace them together on the side, and begin our border. All right, so I knew I wasn't going to have enough of this gray basics tweed, so I decided to go with, it's like an off-white, it's Crafter's Secret, Big Idea, and it's, let's see, it's called Magnolia Way. So it's this off-white, antique white, and I thought that it would go pretty decent with this tweed gray here. So before I lace the 2 pieces together under the arms, I want to show you how to work the bottom of each panel. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to start with just one of the front panels. And we're going to work 6 rows of fillet. And that fillet is a very simple fillet of double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. And we're going to work 6 rows of it. Now, if you want more than 6 rows, feel free to do it however you so choose. So I'm just going to slip into the bottom of one of the front panels. It doesn't matter which side. This is going to be worked back and forth until you have 6 rows or more. So I'm just going to chain 1 and get that secure. And I'm going to do a mock double crochet into that stitch and then chain 1 and 2. Now I'm going to skip 1, 2 and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, skip 2 and double crochet into the next. And I'm going to work that all the way to the end of the row. And each panel at the bottom, this is your repeat. This is what you're doing at the bottom of each panel. The lapel section is worked separately from this. 1, 2, double crochet, chain 1, 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next. I'll show you how to turn and go back. 1, 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, skip 2, and double crochet into the next. I'm going to work all the way to the end of this together and then turn and show you the repeat. All right, down here at the last stitch, placing my double crochet into the last stitch, and then you're going to turn it over, and we're going to repeat. You're either going to chain up 2 for a double crochet and add 2 for your chain 2 space, or you're going to mock double crochet and chain 2. So mock double crochet and chain 1, 2. And then I'm going to double crochet into the top of the previous row double crochet. Still skipping 2. Just like that. And we're going to repeat this for a total of 6 rows of filet crochet. 1, 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next. And you can go ahead and continue with that on all 3 panels at the bottom. You can do more than 6 rows, do no less than 3. All right, I will meet back up with you once I have that finished and I'm ready to seam the 2 sides together. Okay, so we now have, let me turn this around. We now have our fillet at the bottom of the front panels, as well as our back panel. All of our fillet is done there. The next step is to go ahead and piece together the sides. So let's open this up so I have one side showing. All right, here we go. I got to turn it around again. Now, you have it marked, or you should have it marked, for around your arm. From that point down to however far you so choose, whether you want to go all the way to the fillet or beyond is up to you. Now, the original, I will show you how far down I went. So here is where I started under the arm, and then I went down and I didn't go all the way to the fillet. So here starts the fillet, and here stops my join of the back panel and the front panel. So I actually stopped one full repeat before my fillet. Again, it is entirely up to you how you so choose to do this. I'm going to show you how to join those together, lacing them like that. And it's up to you to go down as far as you want. So what I do is I'm going to attach with a slip knot to where I have it marked on one side, with a slip stitch here, which is going to be classified as your first chain 1, and then chain 2 and 3. Now, if you want this lacing in between to be longer, you could chain 4 or 5 if you wanted to. Then I'm just going to slip stitch to the opposite side and remove my stitch marker, because now it is officially joined together. Now I'm going to work my way down back and forth, doing the same thing. Chain 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to come down a little ways on the other side and slip stitch. It's a little harder to do this direction, but we got it. Chain 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going at a diagonal, so I'm catching just a little bit further down than I did on this side that I just slip stitched to. I'm going to go down just a little bit further and slip stitch on the opposite side. Chain 1, 2, 3. Again, I'm going to reach over here and go down just a little bit further. Now, if you're chaining a longer chain, you could stretch this out, your zigzag effect, even further. Completely up to you as to how many you do. We're just creating this zigzag all the way down to where you want it to stop. I'm going to reach back over here and slip stitch. Chain 1, 2, 3. And you can go from the top side or the bottom side. We're just slip stitching on each side with a chain in between. Just like this. And we're going to do this to both sides and make them equal. And once you have it laced all the way down as far as you want to lace it, you're going to cut away from your yarn ball and sew in your ends at this point if you would like. We still have one more little thing to do, and that's our fillet on the lapel where we curve it. So go ahead and do both sides of your vest, lacing it together. Now, if you don't want the lacing, you absolutely could whip stitch it or slip stitch it like we did the shoulders. This is just a little added extra give and room within your vest. So when you're wearing it, it has this motion. It has the ability to shift a little bit and adjust. It also gives a little bit more space, about an inch of space there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this side and the other side, and I'll be back to show you how to work the lapels. So now for the lapel, we're going to start up where we joined the seam. And again, I'm just going to put a slip knot connection. So we're going to, where we joined at the seam, you're going to go into the first stitch after the seam, and we're going to pull through, and we're going to chain up 2, 1 and 2. That is the height of your double crochet. Now, if you're used to doing the mock double crochet with me, you totally can do that, completely up to you. Now we need to chain 1, 2 more, and that's going to be for the skip 2 right here. And we're going to double crochet into the next. Then chain 1, 2, skip your chain 2 and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, skip 2 and double crochet into the next. Now we're going to chain 2 and double crochet back into that same stitch, and that is at the corner of your front panel. So if you still have more room or you had less room, in the corner stitch, the last stitch at the top, you're going to chain 2 more and double crochet back into that same stitch. So we're turning that corner. We're not making it a point, we're turning the corner. Now we're going to work down the side of the front panel all the way to the very last stitch. And then we'll work 2 more rows after that, and it'll change a little bit at the top each time we start, you know, up here or finish up here. It'll be a little different. All right, so now we're going to chain 1, 2, and a double crochet would be considered 2 stitches. So we're just going to hop down to the bottom of this double crochet that we worked the 2 into right here. And we're going to place a double crochet into the bottom of it. Now we're going to chain 1, 2, and we're going to skip this double crochet right here and go into the very bottom and place a double crochet. So that's how we're working. We're working into the bottom and tops of those stitches. 1, 2, hop down to the bottom of that stitch and place a double crochet. Chain 1, 2, and when you get to your mesh section, you have to remember this is a single crochet here, and then a double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. So we want to skip this single crochet and this double crochet and place a double crochet into the bottom of it. So it's a little bit more of a stretch on that fillet in this section only. So chain 1, 2, and we're going to skip over to the single crochet here. So skipping the double, and down here in the single, we're going to place a double crochet. We're working into the sides of those stitches. So now we're going to go back to these where we're working below and at the top. So 1, 2, skip down here and double crochet. And you're just going to work that all the way to the very last stitch. Then you're going to mock double crochet, chain 2, and turn your work and work back up to almost the top. I'm going to show you how to change it when we get up closer. So when we get down to the end here, I'll show you how to turn your work and work back up to a certain point and finish it and begin the last row. All right, so once you've made it all the way to the end, your fillets should be lining up for the bottom and the side. So now what we're going to do is turn around and go back up the same way to a certain point. So you're going to turn your work over and either chain up or you do a mock double crochet and a chain 2, which I will do. Here we go, mock double crochet, Get a little bit more there. Here we go. Oops. Hang on. I lost my loop. There we go. And chain 2. 1 and 2. And then we're going to skip the chain 2 and double crochet into the next stitch. And you're going to continue that all the way. Chain 2. And skip 2 and double crochet. So continue with your fillet all the way up here to the last 2 fillet squares before your corner, before this little one on the corner here. So all the way up here to 2 before the end. When you get to this point, I'll meet up with you and I'll show you how to end it and start the next row, and we'll go all the way to the bottom with the, next row after this one, and that'll be the end of your lapel section, and you will do the same thing on the opposite side. So now we're down here to the last 2 before the corner, and we're going to go ahead and do 1 more fillet. So chain 2, double crochet into the next. Then we're going to chain 2, but instead of double crocheting into the next one here, we're just going to simply single crochet into it. So it creates this angle. All right, now we're going to turn our work over, and we're going to single crochet back over 1 and 2 and single crochet to the top of that double crochet 3, like such. And then we're going to repeat what we just did as far as going in reverse, chain 1, 2, and now double crochet into the next double crochet. So skip those 2 and double crochet. So just the opposite direction. Instead of chaining 2 and single crocheting, you're going from a single crochet, chain 2, skip 2, and double crochet into the next stitch, adding that height back. So that's going to give you the overall appearance of an angled corner up here for the top of the lapel. Now you're going to continue on to the bottom of this row for your remaining 3rd row of fillet. Just continue to chain 2, skip 2, and double crochet into the next. And when you get to the end of this row, you're going to bind off, and you are done with this side of the lapel. You can work on your other side lapel on your own, but that is the end of this. So I hope that you all have enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope that you make this. If you do, I would love to see pictures of your work. You can share them in the Facebook group. You can share any of your work on the Facebook group. You can also tag me in Instagram. You can send it to me in an email if you do not have social media platforms. I just would love to see your work. All right, everyone. So that is it for me today, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Be blessed, be a blessing, and until next time, bye for now.